doing a very simple project. We're going to be cutting some patterns on some African fabric that has been plastered on what? On, I don't know what material this is, but it's some type of cardboard. So basically it's just a cardboard that has been, the African fabric has been glued on top of the cardboard. So I'm going to cut some patterns and they're going to turn out very nicely. So the cardboards I have are kind of this, and a couple more very colorful, and a link to the client's website in case you're interested in these materials. So for first things first, just before they glue the fabric on the cardboard, they have to ensure that there are no air holes. Otherwise the air holes are going to mess up with the cutting power of the machine and things are going to turn out a little bit burnt, and you don't want that. You want some clean work. So when they usually glue the fabric, I usually tell them to ensure there are no air holes. Apart from that, you want to use glue sparingly. You don't want to use a lot of glue, because from my experience I've realized that the lasers usually struggle to cut through items where there's some glue formation or something like that. So use glue sparingly, but make sure there are no air bubbles. So far I've already cut the pieces to size, and I don't have a very large machine. For this work I'll be using the Falcon Creality Falcon 2, and if you know, the bed size is about, I think it's 420 by 420 millimeters, and this thing is looking a little bit long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure the length, then I'm going to put the designs on light band and then decide how many patterns I'll be able to cut or in each go. Okay, so let's just get started. So this is about 17 centimeters. 7 centimeters. Yeah, this is about 70 centimeters. So just measure the item. The length is about 70 centimeters and the width is 27 centimeters. Yeah, so this definitely will only fit one on the Creality Falcon 2, because the Falcon 2 has a bed size of, I think, 420 by 420. So I'll have to cut the items at least twice to ensure that I don't waste any material. Of course, when you're working with clients, you want to make sure you use the materials to the maximum. So usually before I start doing any new work, I like to clean my work area. Of course, definitely I should be doing this after every work that I do, but sometimes I'm caught up with time or I just get lazy. So before I start any work, just like cleaning the work area, making sure everything is fine. The bed is good, machine is fine, my good old tape, so everything looks good. So next we'll set up the materials. It's a little bit long, so you have to get a little bit creative. So you can see I've already laid down the material on the bed. It's quite longer than the bed of the Falcon, but that's fine because we're going to do multiple cuts to ensure we make maximum use of the material. So I'll just fasten the material. I like fastening any material that I put on the bed, especially because you never know, sometimes the laser head comes and gets the material out of the way, and this is going to destroy your patterns. So I just I like fastening it, and I can fasten it with either normal tape or painter's tape, or just putting on some weights. So recently I found out these couple of tiles around the house, so I thought they will do good work of holding some flat items. So I'm going to use the tiles to hold, but of course you don't need to use tiles, you can just fasten with the tape. But I think let me just use the tiles. Where else can we put? Let me see. So I like using the tiles to hold the materials, and also use the tiles as a way to help me know the distance between the head and the bed. So just something that I've recently found and something that I like. So our material is ready. I think we're going to go to the patterns and then continue from there. So this is the pattern that I'm going to be cutting. Let me see if it can be seen properly. So it's basically a snowflakes kind of thing. There are, I think, 3 designs. So I'm just going to lay them out on the canvas. Make sure that they're going to fit the material size that we've already cut, and then we'll transfer the design over to the machine and start cutting. So let's see how things will turn out. So these are the patterns that we're going to be cutting on the African fabric that has been glued on the cardboard. There are 3 designs, and we're going to fit them on the 70 by 27 centimeters African fabric glued cardboard. So there's the design. So I'm just going to arrange them so that we make optimal use of the materials. We don't want any wastage. Now that we're done with the snowflake design, I think it's time to cut. Now, so here one challenge that I usually encounter is these materials, they're usually not well dried, and some of them might have some foreign properties because the cardboard that they're using, they make it themselves, so it's not coming straight from a factory. Of course, there are some quality issues here and there, but the client prides in making recyclable materials, so I'm going to have to deal with what they've given me. So let's get started and see whether we encounter any challenges along the way and how we're going to solve them. So first things first, let's get the work area of the frame. Alright, so you've seen that the head has just gone outside the material, so I'm going to have to move the material to ensure that it stays within the work area. Okay, let's try again. So sometimes the material might not really fit the work area. You're going to have to do some adjustments. Usually just like taking the material, pushing it slightly, doing tests here and there until I make sure it's within the work area. And after that, then we'll be ready to do our cutting. Okay, I've already adjusted the material. Let's just do a final test to ensure that everything will be within the work area. And yes, that's that. So the next thing you want to do is ensure that the material is flat on the bed. I've already done that. Then this is the point where you can fasten the material, and for myself I'll be using these tiles just to keep the material down. If you're using any fasteners or weights, just make sure the laser head is not going to mess with them. And of course the next thing is just to position the head of the laser just next to the material so that it will be easy for you to cut. So I'm going to switch off the machine, then get the head. Then I'm going to use this couple of height measuring stuff that is sent to the material. Then just do the necessary. I've adjusted the head. Let's just see. Okay, looks good. Let me just run a quick frame test. Alright, that sounds good. So I think I'll just push the material a little bit to the front and then we get started cutting. So now I think we are done with positioning the material. So on the sides over here, I'm not sure if you can see, but I've had to use just the clear tape because the tile was getting in the way of the laser head, and that wouldn't have been convenient. But other than that, things are good. So for the settings, I'm using a power of 180. Is it really 180? Let me just see the settings. Speed 180, maximum power. So maximum power, let me just put 90. Speed 180 should be fine. Constant power mode. Number of passes. Let's put the passes to. Let's put to 2. This should be fine. And well, let's just get started. So usually I will use this enclosure and close here just to ensure the fumes don't get too much in the workshop, but I realized I'm better off leaving the cover open because the workshop is well aerated. So I'll come back when this thing is done. So guys, I've had to change the speed from, I think it was 180 up to 600 because I realized it was taking a lot of time, but the cuts are also nice. Now you can see the laser head is going quite a little bit faster than before, so this should do. Guys, here are the items finally. Came out nicely, and because the cardboard had, I think, had a lot of glue, I had to run a couple of passes to make sure that all the patterns are cut out nicely, and the result, basically I'm just happy with all these things. So I've put another material. So I've already started cutting. So I'll just finish with the rest of the materials, and then from there we'll just see how the final work will turn out to be. So I had to step up and give you some game. So just make sure when you're cutting your pieces, make sure that the material is fastened on the bed nicely, and don't remove the material until you are sure that every intricate piece has been cut. Usually what I like doing is, after the machine has gone the number of passes that I've set, I usually just come and check the material, try to raise it up, ensuring that it doesn't move either to the left or to the right. It just stays in the same position, so that in case there are pieces that have not been cut properly, I can put another pass or a couple of more passes, they get cut nicely. So that's what I wanted to tell you. I'm still going on with the cutting. I'll let you know when I'm done. Guys, there we are. There are the items that have been cut, and they're looking really colorful. I really like these things. Alright, so we're done with the snowflakes. Guys, there we are. I've already shown you how we're cutting some African batik patterns that have been glued on a cardboard. They turned out nicely, and I used the Falcon Pro 2. If you're interested in the machine, I'll leave a link to the description. And if you enjoyed this session, let me know in the comment section, and I'll put some more tutorials on things that I'm doing at the workshop. Till next time, stay building.